Floods kill more people each year than any other natural disaster. Beginning with the biblical story of Noah, humans have struggled to survive against the rising waters.
Grab the rope!
This show will simulate how to survive a flood in your home.
Your only option is to bust your way through the ceiling.
At work. And in your car. You'll see how to make your own fresh water.
What I want to do now is try distilling this disgusting water to make some pure water.
Cook food without any power.
Fire inside your house. If you can't think of a more dangerous situation, I don't know.
And you'll meet a woman who survived through Hurricane Katrina.
There's all these preconceived notions on survival. What would your advice be to me?
Don't panic.
Hello, I'm Les Stroud. Here in New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina caused one of the worst floods in American history. 80% of this city was underwater, some of it to a depth of 25 feet, and all of it in under 8 hours. Hundreds of people died. Tens of thousands more were left homeless, and nearly everyone was unprepared. We begin with a story of survival, one of Katrina's victims, caught in the sudden flooding when the levees broke in New Orleans.
Her name is Deirdre Humphrey, and she was trapped in this flood-ravaged house for 6 days.
When I got up and looked down, all you can just see is water coming. It all came at one time.
Why'd you stay?
Because we didn't think nothing this devastating was going to happen. Nobody did. You know, even though they say it's coming, like they always say it's coming, but it never comes.
Total denial.
It's just total denial.
To show you what Deirdre went through and what you could do to survive.
We've simulated a flooded house, a single-story flooded house, much like the ones affected by Hurricane Katrina.
When local authorities issue an evacuation order, get out, and get out fast. The problem is, floods aren't always predicted. And even when they are, what if you didn't hear the order? What then?
When they start seeing this much water, it's incredible to know that they keep an overwhelming belief that it can't get much worse. So the only survival action people even take is saving things like photo albums, videos, CDs, personal belongings. Higher up everything goes. Important documents, pillows, cushions, bedspreads, anything you cherish gets put up to a higher spot. All the time, you're watching the water rise.
People don't always realize the seriousness of a situation. Even in an inch of water, you should be thinking about survival.
Whatever it takes, you've got to keep yourself dry. You have no idea how long you're going to have to endure the water. Driving in any kind of storm, whether it's a hurricane or just a hard rain, it's a white-knuckle ride all the way. You look up ahead, you don't know if you're going to go through 6 inches of water or 6 feet. A lot of people do find themselves stuck at the office. Other than getting up to look out the window at the storm every once in a while, and your false sense of confidence keeps your head buried in your work. Meanwhile, it could be getting a lot worse out there than you might think.
Power grids are shutting down. People are panicking. If you can, find a radio to stay informed on the progress of the storm.
Dealing with water this deep is one thing, but just when you think it can't get worse. Okay. Now you're stuck finding a flashlight in the dark. I've got to admit, usually I'm pretty prepared. But I still find myself time and time again being caught in a blackout without a flashlight. I know it's in here somewhere. Aha! You've got to keep a designated area for all your emergency gear. All right, see what else is going on.
All right, I know you might think this is overkill, but fresh water is vital, so collect as much as you can. And there's no plug here. You can't be sure that the drinking water is going to stay safe, especially in a flood situation. I'm going to have to jam that cloth in there. Hope that holds.
My thing was fill something up with water. You know what? I'm telling you. I heard they were saying that on the news. You know, fill up pots and all that with water and stuff. Fill up your bathtub or something with water. So that's what I did.
One of the most difficult moments comes when you realize that you can't get outside. You're trapped. The car is probably flooded in the garage, and water is funneling down through the buildings. It only takes about 6 inches of rapidly moving water to knock a full-grown human being over. It's not hard to imagine people panicking in a moment like this. You can hear the sounds of the house creaking, the water gurgling. It's an awful lot like a home invasion. Man, it's still coming down. Great. Treated him right through the window. That's how strong the wind is outside. And it shows you how dangerous it is to be around a window during a storm. Man. Trying to get through deep water is probably one of the most treacherous things you can do. If it comes up too high, it gets all over your power cables, shuts you down. If you were lucky, maybe you got your windows cracked a bit before the power took out. Once you finally accept the reality that you're in the middle of a disaster and you find yourself in a dark office building, it's not hard for panic to set in then. You can pretty much stay calm. Really, it's the same old story. Keep your mind active. And I gotta find a way to give myself some better light than this. This is the desk of a coworker. And now is not the time to worry about the ethics of rifling through someone else's belongings. You're in the middle of just trying to survive. All right. Don't leave any problem unfixed if you don't have to. Get right to it. Keeping yourself warm and dry is vital. Even in the tropics, being wet for a long time can lead to hypothermia. Besides, staying busy will help to keep you from panicking. You're in a war zone now. You gotta keep the cold and wet out and the warmth in.
Survival doesn't always require special equipment. Even duct tape and garbage bags can be invaluable.
All right. A lot of bad injuries can occur during the mayhem and the panic of a situation like this. So let's just make an assumption here that while working on that window, I've cut my arm badly. There. Now, I'm sloshing around in filthy, contaminated water. The last thing I want to have happen here is to start to get a really bad infection. Think about everything you have in the house.